It's time for us to go around the table, Campaign 2020. Joining me around the table are our two political analysts. Joe Mystic teaches law at Duquesne University, but his background is rich in Democratic politics, not only here in Pittsburgh, but across the state. On the other side is Keith Schmidt. And for many years, Keith was the state director for Republican Senator Rick Santorum. And like Joe, he knows politics in this state. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. The first subject we're going to tackle today is the impeachment. Obviously, the articles are going over to the Senate in approximately 45 minutes or so. Now, for weeks, the House voted to hold those articles of impeachment, finally delivering them today. The Senate, so the question is, after it's in the Senate, what can we expect for the next couple of weeks, if not 6 weeks or more?
Well, I think the easiest thing is for people to analogize this towards a criminal trial, the kinds of things they see on TV and in the movies a lot. The presiding officer here is the Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, so he is more or less the judge who calls balls or strikes. The jury will be the United States Senate. They're not to act in a partisan fashion. They're not to prejudge this. They take an oath, as a juror would, to hear things, hear the evidence fairly. Yeah, we know that. We know that some of them are already out saying that they've decided this case already. Now, if you're a lawyer, that's a complication, because if you're a lawyer, you then have to false swear that you're going to hear this fairly, and you've already announced that you've made up your mind. So that complicates things a little bit. There are prosecutors. They're called the managers of the House of Representatives, appointed by the Speaker, and they're more akin to the prosecutors.
Well, I think, Joe, that Speaker Pelosi has overplayed her hand. She waited too long. She's lost the attention of the American people. I think the impeachment proceedings are now largely anticlimactic. Everyone knows the outcome. The president will be acquitted. There could have been some issues there of concern, but nobody believes that it rises to removing him from office. So at this point, it's more of a theater than it is a court proceeding.
Oh, I don't think she's overplayed her hand. I think she's played it perfectly. Look what happened during that interim when the vote was first taken before they send the articles of impeachment over. A lot more evidence has come out. Some came out as recently as yesterday that is very incriminating evidence. Now, the Democrats' job in this case is to put all their evidence in, and if the Republicans are going to decide it on a partisan basis and not on the evidence, you have to make them do that. You have to force their hand, and that's what she's doing.
The court of public opinion, I think, has already spoken, and I think you can agree with me that we're not going to have an outcome other than an acquittal. So I really believe this is more theater.
I'd be shocked if they're what's a conviction because of the things that the Senate Republicans have said to date.
That goes then to what the House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler said today. He's one of the House managers. He says the Senate is on trial as well as the president.
You know, that's a dramatic way of saying that everybody in this movie is going to be carefully scrutinized, and everybody, their actions will be judged in the public forum, and that's the way it goes.
The temperature is high on Capitol Hill. This is so much inside baseball stuff. They talk as if they talk to each other like everyone cares about what they're talking about. The senators, I'm sure, are immersed in it. The congressmen are immersed in it. But the average American family trying to make ends meet have moved on.
Well, perhaps moving on, but not being able to move on are three Democrats who are United States senators.
Right.
How is this going to impact the campaign?
Well, this isn't the best timing for them, but you know, considering the base of at least two of them, the two more progressive candidates that I know you're referring to, this is not bad for them. They're just not going to be in Iowa as much as they want to be, or any place else. That's right. That's right. But in terms of the PR, there can be major public. They can attract a lot of attention just through the media, a lot more than they could pounding on doors.
Yeah, I would argue that's my point. That as impeachment, not as managers, but as people sitting in as a jury, they're going to be asked by all kinds of news outlets, what are you thinking? You're running for president, you're sitting in that room. I have a feeling they're going to get more press than if they were out in the campaign trail.
Oh, I suspect so. I think this might be good for them, not bad for them.
We've got a couple of polls. I'm going to skip the first one, which shows the national average. I can just tell you this right now from the Real Clear Politics national average. Joe Biden is leading everybody else. But when you break it down to Iowa, this is what happens. Now, this is the Iowa Real Clear Politics poll. Gentlemen, your take on this. It's a tight race.
Well, I'm comparing this race as it shapes up in Iowa and across the nation to the one I saw firsthand in 2012 when Senator Santorum ran for president. He and Newt Gingrich split the conservative vote, had the largesse of the vote between them, but running up the middle was Mitt Romney, who eventually became our nominee. Now you have Biden leading, but when you put the two socialists and two liberals together, they have 45% of the constituency of the Democratic Party. And I don't know that they're going to kiss and make up. I don't think they're going to be, once Biden, if he is an eventual nominee, I'm not sure that they're going to fund him or they're going to be aggressively supporting that nominee.
You know, it's not a
problem.
foregone conclusion that Joe will win in Iowa, but if he does, it will help him gain some momentum,
Sure.
and it will be that boost that may allow him to sweep the table in the upcoming primaries. You know, he's in South Carolina and Nevada pretty soon, and he's very, very strong. They're double-digit leads.
And the other thing as we wrap this up is that he also can continue to campaign while maybe 3 senators, you have to include Amy Klobuchar in there as well.
That's correct.
They're going to be sitting in Washington,
correct.
perhaps even up to Super Tuesday if the Senate draws out this trial.
And I know everyone's talking about Bloomberg being the dark horse, but I still say we have to watch on Mayor Pete and where he might be heading in the critical weeks and months ahead.
All right, gentlemen, thanks so much for being with us on today's Around the Table.
Enjoyed it.
Susan?